Well, hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video, I'm going to have a go at customising one of my air rifle cases. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Roll the titles. If you've ever looked around for a hard rifle case, you're probably going to find two different options. The most basic option, like this case here, which is lined with a high density foam, which is called egg foam. Now the problem that I find with these is it doesn't really hold your rifle in place inside the case. It tends to move around. So there is another option. The next step up from the egg foam then, that's what we find in this case, which is pinch pluck foam. So you still got the egg foam on the lid, but in the main body of the case you've got this what they call pinch pluck foam. With pinch pluck foam, the main compartment is lined up with this foam, as you can see, that's partly scored, and what you can do is basically you stick your fingers in and pinch out and pull out the foam around the shape of your rifle. So it is a step up. The rifle doesn't move, but because everything's at right angles, you know, it does the job, but doesn't look that smart, to be honest. And as you can see, if you do change around your rifle like I've done here, you end up with big gaps and bits missing and stuff. So this is not going to be the case that I'm going to alter. I'll show you what we're going to do. And some rifles, when you buy them, come with their own dedicated hard case, like my BRK Ghost. So if we look at the case that came with my Ghost, then you can see that you know, manufacturers do their best, but it's a one size fits all solution. So once you start modifying your rifle, the cutouts in the foam don't really fit anymore. And there's also these sort of extra little bits that they try and put in to satisfy their needs with the different models and everything. So you can see with all the modifications, although in this case the gun's held securely, it's not exactly tidy. So I'm looking at a solution to customize this case to make it look a bit nicer, a little bit tidier. So I went online and I found this company called Shadow Foam that sells all the stuff you need to basically customize or pimp out a case. This is something else that I've had hanging around for a while and never got round to dealing with, and because the weather's not allowing me to get out and shoot, it's an indoor job, so we're going to have a go at sorting this out in this case and seeing if we can get it looking a bit smarter. So this is the foam then, the sheet of foam that I've got. I think it's roughly about 1 metre by, I think it's about 1 metre by ½ metre, and you can see you've got the top, which is the, you know, it comes in many different colours. I decided to get blue because I like blue. The black goes on the top, and I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's actually layers, so you can cut into it and peel away those layers and get different depths to sit your rifle in. So that's the sheet of foam that I got, and I also bought their basic cutting kit, which gives you instructions. They've got video instructions as well on their YouTube channel, but this contains instructions, pair of gloves so you don't cut yourself, and a scalpel and scalpel blades, because you do need a very sharp knife to do this. So this is what we're going to crack on with. So the first step then is to make a template of the inside of the case so that I can cut the shape of the foam, just the foam blank, so that it fits inside the case to begin with before we try cutting shapes for the rifle. So let's take a look at that, shall we? So here this is the box then with the rifle and all the bits taken out. And what I was hoping to do was to pull out this insert and use this as a template for cutting the foam. But on closer inspection, you can see in places it's not a very sort of neat or tight fit. So I think what I might do, you see there's gaps all round, might be because there's a bit of a slope to the side of the case there, but that's going to be quite easy to cut the edges of the foam to make it fit, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this insert, and then I'm going to try first off using the cardboard box that the foam came in, big sheet of cardboard, to make a template that I can use to cut round. There's a bit of a sticky mess left inside the case, but I'm not going to try and clean that up. I'm going to leave that, and hopefully that will stick to the shadow foam and hold that in when that goes in there. So first stage complete then. Here's my template. You can see for the complicated bits up by the handle, what I've done is couldn't get them perfectly right with the card because you can't get inside. So what I've done is put bits of paper on the edges and then shaded round the lip of the case and cut that out and stuck them on so that that all fits fine. So now we've got the template. The next thing to do is to put this on the foam and cut our foam blank out so that it fits in the box. So I made my template then. Put my template on the foam, and now I've cut out my blank. It was fairly easy to do actually, but the scalpel, providing you've got a sharp scalpel, goes through very easily. And just my advice if you're going to try this is just don't try and cut too deep in one go. Sort of use the depth of the scalpel blade first, and you'll probably need sort of 4 or 5 passes to get through the thickness of the foam. So there we go, there's the foam blank to go in. Now inside the case, the bottom edge, this bit here, rolls round in the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take like a chamfer off around the edge here so that it takes account of that when it goes into the case, so it sits flat. So I'm going to take that chamfer off, and then we'll do a test fit and see what it looks like. Just finished rounding the corners off then. You can see I've just taken the scalpel around the bottom edge at 45 degrees to round all these corners off so that this fits in the base, because there's a profile in the bottom of the case. So now it's need to fit the blank in the base of the case. Here we are then with the blank shadow foam fitted in the case. As you can see here, look, nice, a nice fit. It's actually a better fit than the original foam, so quite happy with that. So now the foam's installed in the case, the next step is to work out where we're going to position the rifle and create the inserts for the rifle and any other bits and pieces that I want to put in the case too. Next stage then is to start cutting the insert for the rifle. So I've laid out the rifle, trying to get it as centrally as I can. So you can see I've got even space at either end from the muzzle and the butt plate. A little bit more tricky from the depth point of view, because unfortunately this handle sort of eats in to the area. So we've got the grip down pretty close there, and we've got the scope pretty close at the top, but should be able to manage okay. So what I've done is I put a brand new blade, because I want to make sure I get a nice clean cut now. So I put a brand new blade on the scalpel, and I'm basically just going to run the scalpel not too deep into the foam around the edge of the rifle, and then we can remove the rifle and then decide on the depth within the foam that we want to cut and start peeling the foam out. So that's what we're going to do next. I've cut the shape of the rifle in the foam then round the outside of the rifle, and now it's just a case of taking the rifle away and then starting to peel back the foam and peeling it back to the depth in the foam that we need, that I need for the rifle to sit in nicely. So that's what I'm going to do now. And here we have the finished article. For the moment, I'm just going to leave things as they are. I will add some more openings in some of the places for my magazine box and single shot loader and other bits and pieces. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So let's have a closer look. So you can see it certainly looks a lot tidier than it did in the original case. I mean, not bad for a first attempt. I've left enough space at the top there. I might open this up a little bit further here so there's a bit more space so I can sort of change scopes if I need to. But this is the scope that I tend to use on this rifle anyway. As you can see, I've got some areas here and down here where and even up in the corner here where I can cut some openings to put other stuff in as I need to, like the recharging thing and a magazine box and single shot loader and that sort of thing. So that's potential to do that. I'm going to have a think about where I'm going to put those. Yeah, the only difficult thing that I come across actually was peeling the foam. I'll explain. I'll get a bit of scrap and show you what I'm talking about. Right, so here's a bit of scrap that that I cut out. This is the bit that I cut out from the handle there when I was making the blank, and you can see that it's actually 5 layers of foam, and I think I've gone down 2 layers. I guess I could go down another layer so it sits further in the case, but it closes okay. The case closes okay, so not a problem. But the one thing is, when you peel the foam back, according to the instructions, you're supposed to peel it back. You can see between the layers, you're supposed to peel it back either close to the top of the layer or just underneath the layer, because each of these layers has sort of like a polythene part to it. And that's the bit that I found quite tricky, actually getting your fingers down until you were at that layer. So I had to go sort of back with the scalpel and try and smooth some areas out. So I mean, it looks a lot better with the rifle in place. If I take the rifle out of the opening, you can see, look, it's a little bit uneven in places, but it doesn't matter what it looks like when it's empty, because nobody's going to see it when it's empty. So you can see here I've got a bit of an imprint. I need to make a little bit of an indent there for the side of this that is proud on the rifle, and I've made an indent because obviously the cylinder is a bit proud. So if I cut that out, then that will probably sit a little bit nicer. And you can see I've made an opening for the gauge on the regulator gauge to sit in there, and also for the parallax turret on the scope to fit in there. So yeah, so looking at the actual thing from afar, that's the opening. So there we go then. Not a bad job really, first time of having to go with this shadow foam stuff, if I do say so. A little bit trickier, as I say, peeling the foam out, but it actually looks a lot nicer, I think, than when I started, and quite pleased with how it turned out. So there we go, another job done. Well, that's it for another video then. Haven't edited this one yet before recording this section, so I'm guessing this is probably quite a short one, but you know, quite an interesting little project. To say, I've had that shadow foam in the box in my room for quite a few months, and just haven't got round to doing it. And what with the weather today, couldn't get out and do the shooting that I wanted to do, so I thought I'd do this instead. Now, probably thinking, how much is this going to cost? And I just had a quick look at my invoice to see, and funnily enough, with the you know, with the basic set and with the sheet of shadow foam, and it was 1 metre by 0.5 metre, it come in at with postage under £40. So you know, that's quite inexpensive really for an air gun mod. Usually you know, these sort of things you expect to say pay a bit more, so I didn't think that was too bad. So you know, think about having a go. If you've got a hard case that you want to pimp up, think about having a go yourself. And it's pretty straightforward if you do it in stages and take your time. Yeah, it did take a while, but that probably doesn't come across over on the video. But yeah, it did take a little bit longer than I thought it would. So anyway, that's that then. So thanks for watching. Hope you found that interesting. If you did, give me a like by hitting the thumbs up button, which would be great. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Any subscriptions and video shares and thumbs up tells YouTube that they should recommend this to other air gunners like yourself who may not have come across the channel before. So you'll be helping me out, and you'll be helping them out finding this and my other videos on the channel. So anyway, so thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Until then, bye for now.